Hey, how's it going? My name is Rick. I am the Senior Community Manager here at Crytek, primarily working on Hunt Showdown. To give a bit of explanation as to what I do is I basically manage the team that manages the community. We act as the go-betweens between our players and our developers, and we create our communication strategy along with all of our social media planning and, just making sure that our community are in the loop on pretty much everything that's going on Hunt and Crytek related.
And thank you so much for joining us for this E6 interview as we continue the week of Shacknews E6, twice your month of gaming ease. Hunt Showdown, it has become quite an incredible thing over the last few years. Like, it is one of the most unique games that I've played. Like, as far as just like, you don't have too many games like that are just like this good blend of not only PvP, like an objective, hunting down, PvE, hunting down this objective and engaging like these, not only these stragglers, small characters, but also these boss characters, and also racing for that boss against other players. And I just want to, like, how's it been through these last couple of years? How's the team feeling? Like 2 years, we're 3 years into Hunt Showdown now, right?
We're 3 years out of early access, so we hit our 4th year anniversary at the start around March this year. So that's 4 years since first launch into early access. Hunt, the best way to describe it, Hunt is a huge passion project for this team. Huge passion project. This was kind of our first step into the whole live service aspect of games. Obviously we're very well known for Crysis and the products like Robinson the Journey and other VR games. But this was the first time that we actually took that step into, right, we want to release a game for everybody and continue to keep it growing and getting bigger and bigger as time went on. So, like we said, we're 4 years in now. It's honestly, for the team's perspective, it's been an incredible journey. We've been able to add in so many features that both the community and both our team have wanted throughout these years. And we've made some great strides in kind of just improving the gameplay, improving performance, and just improving everything really to really kind of give that, give a sense of serious immersion into, like you said, the genre that we've kind of slotted into that isn't really out there right now. So it's been an incredible journey, and one thing that we're very, very happy about is how involved our community have been. From the very get-go in early access, we wanted our community to be very heavily involved in helping us design Hunt to be a game that everybody wanted it. And we've kept that philosophy going even outside of early access. Prime examples are like the last boss that were released late last year, custom ammunition, the latest map, the Sol, that was released towards the end last year, and as well, like we said, kind of keeping that live service going with, adding more things like live events on a regular basis to be able to just keep people engaged and wanting to come back for more. So it's been an incredible journey, really, to be honest with you. We're all very, very happy with how we've progressed over the last couple of years.
Y'all have continued to move out like new content, even very, very recently. Like we've seen the launch of the gun zombies that serve as just like this terrifying. They're not even like that dangerous, but like sound is so important in Hunt Showdown, and the threat that they pose is so interesting to this very heavily sound-based game.
Exactly, and that was kind of one of the reasons why we did it. We wanted, like, sound, like you said, sound in Hunt is it's phenomenal. It's kind of one of our pride points is how good our audio is in game, and we're like, we need to take advantage of this a little bit more. We already have a bunch of sound traps around the map. The half-dead horses, the crows, the bird, the chicken coops, the dog kennels. Everything like that. And there's so much revolving around sound, and we were just like, it'd be nice if we had a grunt that could give away your position a little bit more than just kind of screaming at you when you get near it. So adding in the pistol grunt, for us it was an awesome thing. Obviously not the biggest of additions, but still just it's a little bit of extra variety, and that's something we've been trying to do with the AI cast throughout the couple of years as well. This is, I think, our third, or the two that came this time are like our third and fourth variation of the grunt. We also have the Dr. Grunt, who he poisons you if he attacks you, but drops a health kit afterwards. And you know, it's trying to utilize the strengths that we have and put these into new and interesting ways to kind of get to, well, like I said, portray these strengths, and audio is probably one of our biggest strengths in Hunt at the moment. It's, you know, I mean, we've won awards for the way the audio works in Hunt, and quite a few of them. So yeah, pistol grunts, and then alongside it, obviously we had the lantern grunt, which was, we wanted to add a little bit of extra element of danger. It's like, you know, you got a grunt that can set you on fire. I mean, we all know, anyone that has experience with Hunt, fire, it can be deadly. I mean, fire deadly anyway, but especially in Hunt, you have a lot more risk of being a bigger target or an easier target, especially if you say lost a health chunk because a grunt is after burning you for part of it, you know. So we're always trying to come up with new ways to improve the AI, to give a bit more variation. And this was just a little thing that we wanted to do right now because, like we said, you know, let's take advantage of the sound. Let's take advantage of some new mechanics that we put in terms of, like, you know, now the grunts, they can actually hit their arms and the arms drop off, and if they're holding torches, it can set things on fire and everything like that. So, you know, we're really trying to do our best to just add that little extra bit of variety into the daily gameplay sessions that people encounter.
And not only have we've seen these new units, but like there's also the quest system, which came in very recently to the game, like as if a match wasn't hard for those who really want to challenge themselves. Now they can go out there and chase down additional objectives for rewards in addition to the main objectives of the match.
Exactly. I mean, we're actually really happy with the quest system. Now, I mean, we already had a challenge system in place, but it was kind of limited. There was just one or two things that you could do at the end of a week. You know, you had a weekly or and dailies and everything like that. But we wanted to just elaborate on this a little bit more. And a bit of feedback we've had from people is like, you know, Hunt is 4 years old, so some people are kind of like, I want more to do. I want more stuff to do. People are, we always notice, especially with streamers and content creators, they're always set themselves challenges of like, let's do a prestige only using melee weapons, or let's do this and let's do that. And we thought, okay, well, why don't we give something a bit more to kind of extra bit of a challenge? So this is where the quest system came from. Now, one of the things with the quest system is actually it's only the very first step in a much bigger system that we're actually planning, which I'm not gonna lie, we're very excited about. So right now, like you see, you get the 9 quests. They reset every Monday. You know, different star rewards are earned through it, and different in-game rewards are earned through it as well. And then at the end of the week, you get the blood bond reward, you know, our in-game currency, so that you can put that towards, you know, other hunter skins, legendary weapons, you know, stuff like that. But like I said, this is only the first step, you know. So a couple of things that we've been doing with it is to try and, you know, keep the community involved. We've been doing this little push that we've tagged on social media as suggest a quest, hashtag suggest a quest for anybody interested in sending quest ideas our way. And it's something that we want the community to be very involved, like I said a while ago, in most of the things that we do. And the quest system, it's something for players. So who better than the players to help us design it even further, to give us challenges that they might want to do, you know, and as well, like, actually get something out of it rather than just it being a personal challenge. But then with that, like I said, first step in a much bigger plan, and we have something that I'm going to give a bit of hint towards. It's a system that's going to be known as quest lines. And this is basically going to develop the quest system a hell of a lot more. So one aspect of Hunt that's been like asked, that we've always been asked for more of, is the story, is lore, is history, backstory, everything like that. And the quest lines is going to be an opportunity for us to give a bit more of a story aspect to your play sessions. So these are going to be, you know, a series of quests that are like tied together to give more an insight into the whole Hunt universe, you know. But like we said, you know, quest system just being the first stage, and so far we've seen that it's been a really great. It's a great thing for the players at the moment, and I mean, we've been keeping track of like how many stars people have collected, and I think like within the first month or so, give or take, we're up to like 12 million across the entire community of stars collected towards it. So we've really seen that this was a step forward from the original daily and weekly challenge system. And like I said, this is just the first step. We have much more planned. And honestly, I think everyone's gonna be really pleased and pleasantly surprised with what we end up bringing to it.
Community and the player base has been such a big part of like helping to build up Hunt Showdown and like letting y'all know what they want and how do you sort of balance like the feedback against your own knowledge, like in terms of of weapons and especially popular ones? Do the statistics form the changes that you make to the like balancing, or does the feedback from the community, or is it like a good blend of both?
We've taken the stance of having a good blend of both. I mean, our community are very, very passionate, and they're very, very vocal as well, which is something that we absolutely love. So if something's not working the way they think it is, they'll tell us, and we appreciate it greatly. So what we try to do is that we balance the feedback that we get with that from our community, and then move that over towards the data aspect of it. We pull the information based on, right, we get a bunch of people going, we don't like this weapon, it's too overpowered or it's too underpowered, the price is too high, any multitude of different reasons as to why they might not like it. So we take that feedback, we kind of filter it to make sure that we're getting the main points that need to be put across to the dev team. And then the dev team then will kind of go looking through the data and see, okay, what is it that we need to balance out in order to make this fit a little bit more and not kind of stand out amongst anything else. One of the main things with Hunt is about our variety in our weapons. There's a lot of different options you can take, and no matter what you take, there's always a counter for it. So we want to just kind of make sure that we have that healthy mix of using the community's feedback, but also using our data to make sure that feedback actually translates correctly. So it's a delicate balance that we have to get, and sometimes we find that the data doesn't actually match up to maybe the community's perception. So what we do in instances like that is we just kind of wait and see a little bit longer. We keep it as is, keep an eye on it very, very closely, monitoring the data on a very regular basis, every week or so, kind of just checking on things like, how is this balancing out now? Because people's play styles change. Maybe it changes per day or changes per week or per prestige or something like that. So we kind of have to take into account, and the other side you have to look at as well, is where they actually lie in the matchmaking system. We find that the top tier tend to stick to a specific set of weapons because of the best that they use, but then in the middle tier you kind of have more people that are focusing on, I just want to pick everything out all the time whenever possible and go nuts, run around the place and see what ends up happening. So yeah, like I said, it's a very, very delicate balance, but we do make sure that the community's feedback is heavily taken into consideration, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are using it all the time, and the ones that are using it all the time, sometimes they're going to have some great insights for us to be able to play off of.
And speaking on the weapons end of things, the understanding nuances of each weapon in this game is extremely important because of just how interestingly different each weapon works. And for new players, it can cost quite a bit of time and money to learn how a Mawson works in comparison to a Lebel. And with that in mind, I want to ask, are there any plans down the line, or have you ever considered creating a firing range for the game in which players can practice with weapons, get a feel for how they work, and learn about them in a non-match setting?
It's definitely something that we have been considering. It's also been a request from the community quite a lot, and we know as well that a lot of our onboarding needs a bit of work to it to ensure that it kind of your first experience is actually getting you into the right place before you jump in and start taking on other people. The thing is that something like that is actually a huge amount of work. So right now we have a lot of other priorities that we're focusing on, but we definitely do, like I said, we'd want to really improve that onboarding and player experience from the get-go. One thing we introduced was the 3D weapon viewer. So this was at least a way to help with the sound aspect of the weapons. I'm sure you've probably looked through it where, you pick any weapon you want, you click on the 3D view, you can spin it around, you can fire it, and then you can scroll out for distance and start seeing, or hearing, so that's what it sounds like at this long. So we find that a lot of people tend to use this to start learning the weapons and everything like that. But yeah, you know, it can be a bit of a long learning curve when it comes to kind of figuring out each weapon's strengths and weaknesses and everything like that. So it is definitely something that is on our minds. We do know that we would love to do a bit more with that, but currently our focus is kind of on, you know, improving performance, adding a lot more features in terms of like retention and kind of keeping people engaged and interested in what we're actually doing. But for the time being, you know, it's more of just something we would love, something we know the community would love, but it's going to take a bit of time. So we're going to kind of have to wait and see what happens in that regard. But it is definitely something that we have been considering.
And I understand that y'all might be approaching a rework to progression systems in the game. And are you able to speak a little bit or offer some of the design philosophies that are going to changes, such as the prestige system?
Right now, I can't really go into any kind of specific details on what's going on, but I can say that, you know, the rework that we're planning is also another thing based on a lot of community feedback. I mean, the prestige system being one thing people kind of felt it's a little bit lacking, you know. So we have a lot of plans. We're kind of in that planning phase at the moment as to what way we're going to take this. The main thing is that our focus is going to be around kind of ensuring that it's player friendly, you know, and that it actually has more of a sense of accomplishment to it. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any extra details right now. It's kind of when the time comes, we'll be doing like live streams and we'll have videos and we'll be going in really in depth into it. But for the time being, it's like we're still kind of in that planning phase. We're still trying to figure out exactly what the best route to go is. But we're making sure to keep the community and our players in mind when we're developing this.
And we have seen some improvements in like what kind of feedback the game gives you over the years. Like the post-game report has improved over the years, and I'm curious: is there an area the team wants to expand further to include information like damage breakdowns for damage dealt versus damage received and other aspects?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because yes, we do. We actually do have some plans coming. We're looking at basically a rework of the death screen and a rework of the team detail screen. So these are kind of the two main things at the moment that actually give you the most information about the match that you've just been in. So our aim with it is that we want to give people more information, but we don't want to take away from that suspense that happens when you're in the match. We don't want to be giving away how many people are there, how many people are left, who's, you know, using what weapon, you know, stuff like that. But we have also seen from the community that our death screen, it doesn't give a lot of information. It leaves people quite questioning and wondering things like what happened, you know, what's going on here. Great, I can see what happened to me. But what about what I did to this other person that I was attacking or anything like that? So we're actually currently in the process of reworking both the death screen and the team detail screen. And our hope is that based on the feedback that we've gotten, we'll be taking these screens and this more information towards a step in the right direction that's going to help the community a lot, help with kind of learning from your mistakes, understanding, hey, I shot this guy, why didn't he die? Oh, I hit him in the arm. Okay, fair enough. That makes a bit more sense, you know. So yeah, we have a lot in mind for it, and we definitely have something coming very soon about it. I can't give specifics on when, but you're definitely going to see something in the coming year. When I say in the coming year, within 2022, for a bit of a rework on both those screens. And our hope is that it's going to be the step in the right direction that community have wanted with these screens.
Excellent. And speaking to like the mystique of like a match and like not knowing and like hiding information to keep things like intense,
suspenseful. Yeah, intense, suspenseful. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. Like that's one of my favorite things about the game is not knowing how many others you're still up against as far as like as a match plays out. I myself and other players I've played with, like we do notice like as you get to the end of a match, if you killed off all the others, sometimes you end up in a situation where everybody's dead and you just don't know. And I am curious, has the team ever toyed with the idea of notifying hunters if they're the only team left? Or would it be better to, like, let them know? Or do you feel like that's still part of that sort of mystery you talked about, that intensity where, like, you don't know if there's anyone left?
I can say it's definitely come up, but I can also say we've been like, no. We the whole thing with hunt and the games, each game of bounty hunt is the mystery, is not understanding if somebody's going to be around the next corner. So we're in instances where it's like you're going around, like you say, you kill pretty much everybody. You don't know if there's another team left or if they've already left the map. We don't want to take that away after the fact. That's fine. We don't mind. We don't mind you knowing about it after the match is over. But while you're in that, we want to keep the tension as high as possible. The suspense needs to be there because that's one of the biggest elements of hunt and each game of bounty hunt is you never know what's around the next corner. So, yeah, we've talked about it, but we don't feel we don't feel it's the right way to go. We think it would actually take away a huge aspect of hunt if we were to give far too much, or give away even that slightest bit more information within a round. So our plan is that anything that we do in terms of giving more information is going to be after the fact, after the match, so that you can think back on your match, you can see, from the death screen, the team details, and you can try to learn from any mistakes you might make, or improve on your already existing strategies. So yeah, that's kind of, we don't want that tension to go away. We genuinely think it would take a lot away from hunt if we were to remove that kind of tension.
Fair enough. In a recent blog post, the team talked about update 1.9 and particularly mentioned this will bring a brand new feature to hunt that with a new element of team play in the Bayou, as well as doubling up as an anti-camping mechanic. And I wondered, could you speak to that at all? Could you share anything with us?
It's interesting that you brought that up. I had a feeling that you were going to mention this, but right now it's not something I can go into a huge amount of detail on. The one thing I do want to say, though, is that when we first talked about it, one thing that people seem to latch on to was this anti-camping aspect of it. And while this is an aspect of it, it's not really the primary aspect of it. The main focus on it is actually going to be around team play and around, you and your team working together to have a better time of it, have a better chance at being able to deal with what might lie around the corner, So unfortunately, I can't go into any more details on that. This is one thing that we kind of want to leave as a bit of a surprise because, we have a feeling that a lot of people are not expecting this. We're really looking forward to introducing it. I definitely will say that much, but that's pretty much all I can kind of comment on at this point in time.
Y'all have built up such a passionate player base at this point. The fans of Hunt Showdown really love this game. They really love the universe that you've built, the way that you've designed it, PvP versus PvE in the same place. And with that in mind, has the team thought about expanding the Hunt universe beyond the game? Like, have you ever considered if you could go into doing maybe something like TV shows, books, graphic novels, or perhaps a sequel?
I mean, we definitely have thought about it. We had an announcement I think back at the start of the year that there actually is a series kind of in the works, or at least in the starting of in the works. So we do want to expand on the Hunt universe quite a lot. We're also actually going to be using Hunt itself right now over the course of the next year or so to really expand on the lore and the stories that are there, because we've realized that there's so much there that we can offer and we can give people. So yeah, we're definitely looking at trying to push the story a lot more. I can't really kind of speak to any other things along those lines, but right now it's like one thing I can say is like the events that we've had this year. Event recently enough, which kind of took a big step into showing like who Mr. Sherry is. It's like we introduced this guy out of nowhere last year around Halloween, and it's like, who's this guy? And then this year we were like, well, we want you to know now. We want you to know, and it's something that we're going to continue throughout the rest of the year. We have a couple of more events lined up that are actually going to go further and more in depth into Mr. Shari and what the hell he's actually doing in the AHA. It's really going to be an interesting take, and it's going to give a lot more depth to our events as well, especially because we're continuing a storyline starting from the Trader's Moon event and progressing through the next couple of events,
Nice. And where can people find out more about what's next for Hunt Showdown? Where, this is sort of the rep end of the interview. Like, where can folks follow the game, check out the game, play it, and see what's coming?
Well, some of our best places to keep an eye on everything is our social channels. So obviously there's the at Hunt Showdown Twitter, the Hunt the Game on Instagram. We have Hunt on TikTok as well, and you know we have many other areas. We have Discord, the Steam Hub, Reddit. You know, there's a bunch of places that we try and be as active as possible in. For the best places to actually get the kind of the latest and updated information is going to be our YouTube and our Twitch channels, and as well as that, our blog, our own personal blog on huntshowdown.com. These are the first places that anything big is going to be pushed out to. So we used to have a visible roadmap on our website, but we felt that this text-based document really wasn't doing us justice, really, and it wasn't giving a good idea of what was actually done. When we also, as well, with any kind of development, changes happen, you know, and we found that if things changed on the roadmap, we ended up getting some bad reactions to it because, you know, we had to delay it, or we had to push it off onto the back burner completely. But yeah, our YouTube channel, so youtube.com/huntshowdown, and Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Crytek. These are going to be like two of the best places where we can kind of give, where people will be able to get some of the information about what's coming in the future. We started it off this year with a stream at the start of the year in January to kind of give an idea of what's going to be happening within the first 6 months. We have a couple of dev streams coming up soon because we've got some, you know, we've got the next update coming out, 1.9, in the very near future, and we have a lot to share with that, as well as the following updates that are going to be coming from that. So yeah, Twitch, YouTube, our social channels, even our Discord, discord.gg/huntshowdown. All of these places are going to be the best to be able to get the information that we're going to be given. And we're getting a lot better kind of giving teases and everything like that. We've had a few over the last couple of weeks that have really kind of like, hey, what the hell is this? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm really excited. So, you know, we're trying to do a nice balance with it as well, of we're giving information and being transparent about a lot of things, but we're keeping some stuff on the quiet so we can have it as a bit of a surprise for everybody, you know?
Fair enough. And that's pretty much everything I've got. Is there any final words you want to share with us, Rick? Anything you want to share on the final thoughts on the matter?
Just first off, just to say thank you to you for taking the time to talk to us about everything like this. And I mean, look, as always, it's, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure working on Hunt, and I speak on behalf of the entire development team when I say this, that working on Hunt has been an absolute pleasure for us, and a huge shout out to all of our fans, all of our community, all of our players, everybody that has just, you know, helped us make Hunt what it is today. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and we absolutely love the dedication and the passion that you all show for something that we are so passionate about as well. So thank you, everybody. Looking forward to being able to show you more in the very, very near future.